old paper bag, cutting it up. I say it's about an A4 size of paper. First ball, he whanga poro, 4 balls. Kei kora te pakete, the basket. I guess now I just got to set. I've got the shooting basket, got the tape measure out, down through there, across to that corner. Exactly 3 meters from the drink bottle, kei kora, ki the center of the basket. Yeah, I draw with a ruler if you didn't have a tape measure. Otherwise you could do steps. Maths today. No MBA at the moment, but we can create our own substitute. So today we're going to be doing a bit of percentage work using a shooting challenge. I have 4 balls, wha poro, to throw, and I'll have 10 throws all up. And then once I've got those 10 throws, I'll try and work out my percentage of what shooting is, I guess, and see if I can get better. But maybe I'm already the man, I don't know. So 3 meters from here to the center of the basket, where my feet are currently situated. Right, got the MJ singlet on, channeling some of that greatness. I do love, it's a Wizards one, right? Not quite, but we'll see if it's got it in it. Yeah. Far from far. Oh no.
He's losing it.
Oh, come on. I did it good. Yeah, okay, alright. Stinger. One of uno. Yeah. And two to go. Final 2 in the clutch. Oh, six made shots, 10 attempts. Now, it's a hard day, you know. I know I have better in me. But I'll be back, I'll be working. I'll see if I can be that shutdown shooter in the clutch. Here's my shooting stats represented as a picture. So inside of this circle here, this portafita, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 dots. 10 dots that represent the 10 shots that I took. The ones in green here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, show the 6 that I got in, and the ones in brown show the 4 that I didn't. Over here, I've got the word percentage. Percentage stands for parts per century. So you can see that in the word percent, there's that century. And in the word century, you can see it starts with the same thing, coming from the Roman term cent for 100. So basically it means for every 100 shots that I took, in this case, how many would I get in? And if you have a look at this percentage symbol, you can actually see that it's made up of a line and 2 little circles. Those little circles, if you move them over here, actually make the number 100. So to work it out for my percentage, what I could do is try and turn this 10 shots that I took into 100. Well, how would I do that? How do I turn 10 into 100? Well, I know if I multiply 10 by 10, that gets to be 100. So if I times that one by 10, and I do the same to the number above the line, the denominator there, then I would get 60 over 100. So if I continued shooting in the same level of accuracy for 100 shots, for every 100 shots I took, I would get 60. So it's a nice easy one in this case. Then I know that for every 100 shots I take, I get 60 in, means that I have a shooting percentage of 60%.
That's why we're starting with 10, because it's quite easy to work out a percentage from 10. Nice easy number. The other way that you would do it to work out your percentage is you divide the number of shots that you made by the number of shots that you took. So if I made 6 shots and I divide that by 10, well, using my long division, 10 goes into 6 0 times. So I put a decimal point there and a decimal point there, and that 0 goes over there, and then I carry the 6 over and I say 10 goes into 60 6 times. So I get 0.6 when I divide 6 by 10, and then to work out the percentage I need to times that number by 100. So 0.6 times 100 means that the decimal point is going to move over 2 spaces to the right, because there are 2 zeros in the number that I'm multiplying it by. So that would mean it would go 1, 2, there's a 0 there, so it's going to equal 60, which is 60% again. If you have access to a calculator, that makes life a lot easier, because all you need to do is go the number of shots that you made, in my case 6, divided by the number of shots that you took, 10, equals, and then times that by 100. Calculators make it way easier, especially when you're figuring out trickier numbers for percentages. You can see right there, when I do that, I get that same 60% that I did over here. Extending the activity now, I'll make it a little bit harder. I'll take 6 shots and see how I go. Oh, it's a miss on 1. 2's in. Miss on 3. I think it was a miss on 4. Let's see. Oh, 2 in. 2 out. Okay, 2 more shots to go. Final 2. I think we're good with those 2. Let's have a look though. Yeah, 2 from 2. Which means all up 4. Graphic for my second round of shooting. So you can see that the circle's been divided up into 6 sections. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4 of those 6 are bluey green to represent the 4 out of the 6 shots that I got in. Working out a percentage with these kinds of numbers is just the same process, but it's a little bit trickier, because I can't just instantly turn that 6 into 100 nice and easy like I did before. So the best way to go about doing it for these kinds of numbers is to go through the second step or the third step that I showed you. So first of all, we'd say the number of shots that I made, 4, divide that by the number of shots that I took, 6. Well, 6 goes into 4 no times. There's no groups of 6 inside of the number 4, so I put a 0 up there, and then I put a decimal point next to that 0 and a decimal point next to that 4, and I put a 0 on the other side of that decimal point, remembering that after any number there's an infinite never-ending line of zeros after that decimal point. So this 0 has always been there, but we just don't normally use it, or don't normally acknowledge it, because we don't have to, but in this case we do. So I'm going to carry that 4 over and put it by the 0, and now this becomes 40, and I say, how many times does 6 go into 40? Well, 6 goes into 40, 6 times 6 is 1, 6 times 5 I know is 30, which is quite close to 40 and not bigger than, and I can fit another group of 6 in there, because 6 groups of 6 is 36. If I were to try and put another group in there, I'd get up to 42, which is too big. So it goes into 46 times, and then I put the 0, and there's that 4 left over there that was left from the 40 initially, because I took away 36. So I can cross that one out because I've done it. And then I say 6 goes into 40. Well, I just worked that out. 36 again, so another 6 times, and so I put a 0 there, and then I'd carry that 4 that was left over from the 40 and put it on there. And if you have a look, you can see a bit of a pattern. So if I divided that 40 again by 6, I'd get another 6, and this line of 6s would just carry on forever. So what we do is we put a little dot over that second 6, and that shows us that that number is now 0.66 recurring, which means that that 6 just carries on in that same pattern the whole way and it won't change. But I'll usually stop after 2 decimal points, otherwise they'll be writing out heaps and heaps of 6s. And now my next step, once I've got those 2 decimal points, is to times it by 100. Well, I'll move my decimal over 2 spaces because I've multiplied by 2 zeros to get to there, which means that it's going to be 66.6 recurring percent for my shooting percentage in this instance. The calculator on hand, then I just divide the number of shots that I got by the number of shots that I took, which equals that. That's what they've done instead of the recurring sign to finish, but if I just times that by 100, it's going to equal 66.66666, and I'll cut it off just there, 66.6 recurring with the little. If you want to extend this challenge even further, there's a few ideas out there, one of which would be to have a look on Google, and all I did was type in LeBron James, because he is my favorite basketball player at the moment. LeBron James shooting stats 2020. Even though the season was cut short, there are still some stats out there. And then I just clicked on that top link there that says LeBron James basketball stats, or LeBron James stats. And then if I go down here to click on the 2020 season, then I can see all of the games that he has played throughout the course of this year so far. Now, what I could do is try and replicate his shooting stats. So in this one here, it says field goals attempted. That's how many shots he took in the game. So he took 19 shots, and in that first game there, he got 7 of them in. So if I were to take 19 shots, I wonder how many I got in. So you can see that LeBron James's field goal percentage at that time was 0.368, which is about 36%. So you can see he's not quite shooting as well as Matua, but he had a few other factors involved in that. The way to extend this challenge would be to go for the best trick shot. So I'm thinking off the wall, with a miss. Over the shoulder. There's the basket there. With a miss. Eyes closed. Oh, sounds positive. With a hit. Yeah. So it's up to you. Yeah. Push it as far as you want. Get Whānau involved. Video it. Make your shots look cool. Yeah. Chat.